So let's just say you have your company, you have your idea, you have the industry, you know exactly how you're going to tell your story about your company and how you're going to differentiate yourself against everybody else in the marketplace. So the next question becomes, how do you put the right team together?
If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-team.
Who do you hire? What kind of a culture do you have that sustains it? How do you keep talent? How do you get the best talent? How do you do all this other stuff with your company? There's two challenges that everybody faces when it comes down to putting the best team together so it doesn't keep you up at night. By the way, the best operators like Bezos, Gates, Jobs, Musk, Zuck, all these guys eventually learn how to do this. And if you do this right, it'll minimize headaches. If you don't do this right, it's going to drive you insane for a very long time. So I'm going to cover two things that can help you out with these challenges that we're talking about. So having said that, as I go through the video, you got any questions, thoughts, comments, comment on the bottom. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, click on the sub button and join the notification squad where you're one of the first that gets the videos. So let me get right into it. Number one, the first challenge is human capital. What type of people you're hiring? Because if you don't have this hiring process right, you're definitely firing a lot of people and you're constantly upset with the people you hire. So humans on one side. The other one is organizational structure. And organizational structure has to do with leadership development. It has to do with what kind of a leader you are. It has to do with expectations of everybody's work, what they're doing. Let's address the human side first. So if I was to ask you right now, what personality, employee, or salesperson would do very well for you with your company or your product on what you're selling? Who would it be? Can you answer that? Because that's the first challenge you face in your hiring process. What personality do you want? Do you need somebody that's bubbly? Do you need somebody that's very serious because you're in a regulated business like hedge funds and compliance is critical? Is that something you're looking for? Do you need somebody that's extremely curious? Extremely creative? What is it? But you do need to know the personality type. The second thing you need to know about the human capital is their motivations and interests. Why is that so critical? I hired somebody that I had no idea this person was looking for a job only for 3 months because they were going back to their country. And we talked to them, but we never brought up. It was my fault. I just kind of looked at this person. We started working. 3 months later, I got to go back to my country. I got to go back. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, this was just a job. You never told me this. Well, you never asked. Whose fault is that? My fault, not that person's fault. I had another person that I hired, and their motivation and interest was so simple, it had nothing to do with what I was doing and what we were building. That just wasn't going to work because there was not that drive to want to grow it, and his position required a lot of drive. That's, again, my fault. Number three, when it comes down to human capital, is your values and belief system. If your values and belief system doesn't match with the person you're hiring, that's just going to be a fight eventually. It's not going to mesh. You're going to have to fire another person or someone's going to resign from you and leave to another place. Number four, demographics. Demographics is age, ethnicity, language they speak. Some places women work better than men. Some places men work better than women. It's just you need to know exactly what you're looking for. By the way, that's the human side, right? The human capital side. The other side is the structural organizational part, which is quite frankly boring, but I hate to say it to you, this is exactly what makes you a lot of money. As boring as it is, this is what helps the business get thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker. You're going to make your high equity, high dollars of increasing your value in this area. If you do this right, this increases the value of the company to a whole different level in this area. So number one, when it comes down to structural organizational structure, number one is their incentives, their comp plans, and the rewards you give to them. If that part's not clear, why are they working harder than you want them? Why are you so upset if they're leaving at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock? There's not an incentive. There's not a motivation. What is the purpose of it? And I'm specifically talking to, sales side, and I'm talking to areas where you can measure this. I had a guy that came in, and he started working with us, and I really like this guy. And I sat there with him, we went back and forth, and he was telling me, I got this guy I want to introduce you to. So he brings this guy, he's from Croatia, and he says, Pat, I really need your help. I said, what is it? He's a CEO who runs a business there, and he says, I'm trying to get my sales guys going, but how do you motivate your salespeople? I said, what do you mean? I said, my salespeople are so unmotivated, I'm just so sick and tired of them. I said, tell me your comp plan. What do you pay them? He said, $2,500 a month. I said, what else? Go ahead, keep writing. He says, no. $2,500 a month. I said, what do you mean? He says, $2,500 a month. That's very high in Croatia. I said, you mean to tell me you got salespeople where the only thing you pay them is $2,500 a month, whether they make 1,000 sales or one sale? Yes. Who competes against you? He said, nobody. I said, what's my incentive to stay up to 10 o'clock at night? None. I said, so you're just trying to dictate what I need to do, no matter what I don't make in 25. He says, I said, your awards, your rewards, your incentive, your comp plan sucks. We sat down, we went through a few different things. We wrote a few different things down. He went back, he calls me back, Pat, we're in 3 different countries now, we're blowing up. He's so excited, he sends me snaps all the time because his business finally had the right, his structure finally had the right comp plans that produced the right results he was looking for. Number two is structure and controls. And what this means, structure and controls, is, what is my expectation? I work as a VP of such and such department. What do you expect from me? What is my day-to-day? What do I need to be doing? Who am I reporting to? Who reports to me? One of the managers here, who reports to them? What do I tell them to tell them? What is your expectations of me? It needs to be very specific on your structures and controls as my responsibilities that I have in place. Number 3 is the values and principles you have at your office. Let me explain to what I mean by this. Some places you work, they want you to just focus on your one job, and that's it. The value that you have at your office is you come here from the morning, you get your job done, and you go home, right? You do that, they're happy. But another place you work, the value and principles is, look, you got to be a team player. You weren't helping Larry out. Larry needed help today, and he asked you for it. You said no. So imagine if I'm going to a place where the organization is set up that you expect me to do my job, and I'm trying to help somebody else out, or you expect me to be a team player, but I'm only staying, to my job. I'm going to be disappointing somebody, which is you. So the more clear that is to the entire environment, everybody knows at this workplace, people like it that I work as a team. At this company, people like it if I just do my deal. Everyone knows it's clear. And last but not least, it's situational pressures. Let me explain to what I mean by situational pressures. When you run a company, crisis happens, and all types of crisis. By the way, just in the last 7 days, 3 people have died in the company. And by the way, 3 people that have died are somebody's person that died that's close here at the home office. One was a friend of mine. One was one of our executives here. Another one was one of our VPs here. 3 in the same week. This is situational. How do we handle it? One was somebody's brother. Says, Pat, I said, look, here's what you got to do. You only have one brother. Go attend to him. Meanwhile, just please be accessible when we need you because there's payroll and we need to do in these 2 places. But go attend. You sure about that? Go attend to him. You have one brother. Go attend. That's a situational. Another thing we had that took place when somebody had a thing going on, in some companies that would say, let's not address it right now. We'll get to it 3 weeks from now. I looked at it and say, I want to address it today because I'm about to go to India tomorrow. When I go to Mumbai, I'm not going to have a time for 4 or 5 days. I want to address it today. We flew him out last night midnight. I had breakfast with him today at 7 o'clock for 3 hours. We flew him back out. Why? It was situational that needs to be addressed today. Our culture is we address it right off the bat. Why? Because I don't want this to spiral into something bigger. But it's ours. It doesn't have to be yours. Regardless of where you're at, the other structural part that you have in your company, the organizational structure that you have, that the leadership puts together, which is you, that dictates in our company how we handle different issues that will come up, that we have to handle these pressures. The sooner you have that, everyone's expectations clear. So let me go back to it again. You have the human capital side you need to get clear on. You have the organizational factor side that you need to get clear on. 4 on both sides. The sooner you're clear on those 4 things, the sooner you know how to present this to everybody. And then your team's going to say, oh, shoot, I don't fit this culture. 6 months later, they filter themselves out, or you ask them to leave. And also, this person fits the culture. Perfect. They stay. They're with you for 10, 20 years. Oh, my gosh, I know this person that would be perfect for this culture. And then your recruiting process. I sat with a person the other day, I'm hiring them. I want you to think about this. Super talented, super genius, super smart. Everything was absolute genius at the highest level. I liked him. We liked each other. We hit it off. We laughed. Everything was good. Not a fit at all. Why was it not a fit? He specifically said what he doesn't want to do, which was the job description of what we needed somebody to do. By the way, this isn't his fault. This isn't our fault. It's not a fit. Both of us are mature enough to say, this will not be a fit here. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much. But if there's any other way I can help you out, let's come back together and work together. Excellent. Maturity. But maturity on both sides. Now imagine if we did whatever we could to make this work, and it's not going to work. Imagine if he said, whatever we can do to make it work, but he doesn't travel, and we find out 3 months that he hates travel. That's a firing position. It's ugly, reputation, all these other things, wasted time, wasted resources, not necessary. Maturity, great, we move on. The sooner you have that, the easier it is going to be for you to hire people and retain people, and long-term wise, you grow your business into a whole different level, because this is the one area you can read all the books in the world. You're going to get paid for this side. You're really going to make your value on your company for this side, on how you put your team together, how you retain talent with the company. So now, I have a document, PDF. Go to the bottom and it'll go to a website. Go download the document, a PDF, and fill in all the four for both sides, for human and for your organizational factors that you have. Answer it, get clear, implement it, and go from there. So with that being said, if you got any questions, thoughts, comments, comment on the bottom. And if you have not yet subscribed to the Valuetainment channel, click on the sub button and click on the alert so you're one of the first that gets the videos. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.